All right, up next we've got number 7, which is still separation of variables, but this time there is no initial condition. Once again, we're first going to divide the y and then multiply the dx. All right, now this is going to be ln of y. Now this one might not be as familiar when we integrate it, but that is going to be arcsine of x, which means, oh, don't forget your plus c, which then means we're going to have y equals e to the arcsine x plus c, and maybe you even thought I was already going to do that. Yes, that c is really a arcsine, that plus c can also be thought of again as e arcsine of x times e to the c. E to the c is a constant, so we can just multiply it out front. And that is our general solution, which is all we had to find because this time there was no particular solution. Sorry, I know that wasn't as zoomed in as I wanted it to be. Let me see here. There we go. Okay, up next. Let's go ahead and separate these variables. We'll have a dy over y cubed and a 5x squared dx. This is going to be a reverse power rule. That's really y to the negative third, so we're going to add 1 to that exponent and divide by that new exponent. And now we're going to add 1 to our exponent and divide by that new exponent. Don't forget a plus c. Now this is what we did kind of in class together today. We're going to multiply this by negative 2, which will be negative 10 over 3 x to the third. That negative 2, when it multiplies to c, will just absorb into the c. Now we're going to do that tricky move where we're going to write this as 1 over y squared, and we are going to form a common denominator of 3. Essentially, we can just put c over 3 because that still technically makes it a constant, but we're doing this to have a fraction equal to a fraction so that we can make this switch. Now another switch that's always popular is if you have a negative thing plus a positive thing, why not just reorder it? And now it's time to square root both sides. So we get plus or minus 3 over c minus 10x cubed. Alright, and yeah, so we missed the last parts of that. So again, there's your y squared. Over the common denominator, there's the flip, and we're also reordering to put the c up front, and plus or minus square root of that whole entire thing. That would be your general solution. Alright, one more. Alright, let's separate our y's and x's. That'll be a y dy, that will be a negative x dx. We've actually done this example in class together. And this time we do have initial conditions. We want to solve for c when x is 3 and when y is 4. Before I do that, who wants to deal with fractions? Why not just multiply everything by 2 and let that 2 absorb into the c? So we could also choose to plug in our values of x and y now, but again, you might recognize this as the circle equation. Alright, so if we plug in 3 and 4, we're going to end up with 9 plus 16 equals c. So c must be 25, so that leads our final answer to be x squared plus y squared equals 25. And we are done. Now that 10th question, that's actually what we're going to learn together after the quiz, so don't worry about it. We are done.